Hi, we're all trying to become better AI engineers, or maybe this is the first thing you've ever tried. I'm going to start every single step because even if you've been doing it a while, even if you come from something like data engineering or programming, if you miss a step that just everyone is just so used to doing because maybe there's always a script there or always something going on. Let's just know every step. You may never have to do it again. You might have it set up once and you're set to go. But let's make sure we get every step so it works for everybody. Then we'll get on the same page. If this is way too intro, skip ahead. We're going to put a lot of these out to help people. And just as is a good way of learning for myself to, you know, you're so used to using someone's notebook. It's just like click, click, click. Oh, this is easy. It's not easy when you're starting. So day one, let's do this. We are going to try to make as few assumptions as possible, but lead you on a happy path. And if you do get stuck, please reach out. There's a lot of contact info, whether it's in Discord, LinkedIn, at one of our meetups on Medium. Please contact us. It could be I missed a step and then I'll fix this, or it could be your environment's a little different. Maybe you have to use a different version. We are going to do this for Python today. This series is going to start with Python. It's the most common. This will get a lot done for you. With the libraries mostly coming out there, that is a good place to start. We're also going to have one on Java because I found Java's doing really cool stuff, and Go and Node.js and C Sharp, and there's some other cool ones too. Go, Rust, but Python. Let's just start with Python. That's enough. So most computers have Python. It may be an old version. It may not be the right version. So you may want to start clean, get a new version. Now, don't go for the latest version that just came out. For me, that's last week. No one's made sure their libraries work for that yet. Really, I'm telling you, probably 310, 311 is as high as you want to go for today. This will vary as you're doing things. Let's start out someplace that's still supported and good. Download it for your environment. We're going to assume you're on Mac or Linux today. Windows is a little extra work to do. If there's a lot of people get stuck there, let me know. We'll do some intro for that. So you get Python, or you had it already, and then you're going to want to get things done. The first thing you need to do is set up an environment. So fortunately, we got to go to the command line, which command line is your friend. It makes things easy. So create a new directory. Make sure you have enough disk space. Once we start doing libraries, things take a lot of space. There are alternatives if you want to run this in different cloud environments, and there are some that are free or low cost. Google Colab is a good one. You could usually run stuff there. But let's say you want to run this on your laptops or on a little machine. You can even run it on a Raspberry Pi just so you can have it. You don't have to worry about extra costs, internet, things crashing. So I've created a script, and that's because you probably want to create a script after you've done this more than once. Now, more advanced, and some people may have Anaconda running. It is a good way to isolate these things. It's a little more advanced. We'll do that in a different alternative. Let's keep it as simple as possible. We got Python installed. You may not have the full development set up. You may not have the other tools you need set up. So let's do that with this script. We are going to set up a virtual environment. This keeps things together because you'll find out there's a lot of libraries, different versions of things that may not get along. So let's keep our learning one separate. This is always a good practice. There are a bunch of other tools that can do this, and there's some upgrades. We'll do those in other videos just so you get an idea what to do. So we run this. First time, it's going to take a little while. It's going to be downloading stuff, installing. I've run this, make sure it works. You can see what's all this stuff it's doing. There's a lot of different things that happen based on which libraries. So first we set up an environment so that we are in that environment and it's activated so that we are in our virtual environment so we can install stuff. It's in its own place here. So it's not going to step on other people's stuff. This does take space. So we make sure we have our latest library installer. That's pip. And what I want to do is make sure we have our notebook, because we don't really have to go to the command line all the time. This is not the best place to do environment. There's a lot of IDE tools, but we're going to focus on Jupyter notebooks. They're easy to get from other sources, easy to share, a great way to step through running things. It is a great way to learn, develop applications, do data engineering, do data science experiments. It is an amazingly awesome tool. So we've installed that, which is we made sure we had Python, set up our virtual environment, activate it. You have to do this every time if you didn't restart your environment. Make sure we got the libraries. These libraries installers upgrade a lot. Install our notebook, we only have to do that once. And then make sure it's set up to use our environment. Then we are going to run our notebook. And I have a little script here. This is a little more advanced than you need, but this lets me run a little faster. This lets me run as root. Sometimes your environment may require this, sometimes not, depending where you are. You may not need that. Doesn't hurt to run that usually. If it's causing a problem, take on any of these extra out. I like to change the port. So in case I have other ones running, I don't want to step on other stuff. You could change this to a number you want or leave it out. Here, if I don't put this here, I can't access this from another machine. May not be important if you just have a laptop, but for me, I've got some stuff running in my lab, and I want to be able to connect to different notebooks. Again, you just have to type Jupyter Lab. Again, I like to put in a script because sometimes I forget it's Jupyter Lab. Sometimes I forget, oh yeah, I wanted to change the port. There's a lot of things you could do. And as you see here, I've got that environment that I set up here. I can create a regular Python app. I can create a text file. Markdown is a cool thing we'll cover. Kind of format documentation, web pages. Markdown is cool. We're going to create a notebook, and we'll use that environment. We get nothing to start with, but believe me, under the covers, if we look, it is running. We didn't give it a name. Give it a name. Let's do that right away. How about Notebook 1? This is where we're starting. So we started here. Like I said, we got our Jupyter Notebook. We have it installed. We're going to do we set up Python. We set up pip. We're going to start installing some basic libraries so you could try things out. It is a good way to start. We could cheat and go with another one. If we want to install libraries here, we can call anything in the command line. So if I wanted to see, where am I? This shows me what was there. Remember that command line? Well, we can interact with it. And I could run the same tools I had over there. So say I wanted to install basic tools that everybody needs. Depending on your environment, you probably want PyMilvus, so we can interact with the vector database. That'll come in later, but it's good to have that in there. Because we installed some other things, we could see we have a lot of libraries, and we could see these are existing ones in the environment. If we want to install something specific or something we're working on, this is where we could start doing it. But this is also just where you can do something like print high. And up here, we click the button, run, it runs. We have an environment that's working. This is great. We'll pick one of the libraries like Transformers and do something really simple in the next one. But you have a notebook. You can import notebooks, download them. If you go to our learning series, and then you go to notebooks. You could see we have a ton of different notebooks you could try. And right here, you would just download the raw file, and then you could open it up in your notebook over here. Pretty easy. Or if you saw, you can open in Colab. This is one on Google. This makes it really easy. You could also, if you got here and you're like, I want to be in my own environment, you could just download the IPYNB. That is our Python notebook. It's a long ending, but it makes sense. Like here, you want to copy something and try it out. Like I want to try to install this library. We should have all that stuff. Like we didn't have requests, so we've been able to install something. Something failed. Again, you'll find that depending on your environment. Fortunately, we don't need that one right now, but we'll show you how to fix those things. This is why we set up a virtual environment, to make sure that you can, run these things and not worry about it, because there is a lot based on, are you running Mac Silicon? Are you running Mac Intel? What version of an OS are you running? There's a lot going on here, but I think we've done enough for step one. Thanks.